Hello, and welcome to my first narrated rail fanning video. We have a busy afternoon ahead of us, so let's get started. On Saturday, November 15th, 2025, I would spend an unseasonably warm fall afternoon trackside in my hometown of Terre Haute, Indiana, where two busy CSX main lines intersect. Our first train is L367, a local running Monday through Saturday out of Baker Yard on the south side of Terre Haute, approximately 35 miles north to the International Paper Mill at Cayuga, along with working several industries in between. This past week, this job's power set has had CSX 2680, a former Louisville and Nashville GP38-2, as its southbound leader, still clearly showing its L&N heritage with that classic nose-mounted headlight. Today's train was unusually short with just 3 boxcars from International Paper, seen here crossing Wabash Avenue in downtown Terre Haute on the final leg of its return trip home. After a short break, I returned trackside to a location known as Haley, where CSX's busy north-south CE&D subdivision and east-west St. Louis line subdivision briefly converge before going their separate ways. In the past, there was a 24/7 manned interlocking tower with a diamond here. After the Conrail split in 1999, CSX converted the diamond into the two main convergence we see today. The tower was saved by the Haley Tower Historical and Technical Society and can be viewed today at the Wabash Valley Railroad Museum located at the site. In 2025, the location is still the main hotspot for rail activity in the city, as one can witness all-through traffic on both of CSX's mains through town. Our first train of the afternoon is M686, an eastbound manifest originating at the Alton and Southern Gateway Yard in East St. Louis, Illinois, with the destination of the large CSX hump yard at Avon, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. Many trains on the St. Louis line originate or terminate on the Union Pacific or its subsidiary Alton and Southern in the St. Louis metro area, so run-through power is common, as we will see today. Getting blocked by the 686 on the other side is the Decatur and Eastern Illinois Railroad's 301 job, their daily trip to interchange with CSX at Duane Yard in Terre Haute. A pair of downgraded SD45 car body units is the norm for power. The DREI is a Watco short line formed in 2018 when CSX sold 2 low-density lines in eastern Illinois and the Wabash Valley area. Operating out of Decatur, Illinois, east on XB&O trackage, most of its business coming out of that city, as well as Paris, Illinois customers, find its way to the CSX interchange at Terre Haute, bound for eastern destinations. The St. Louis line would continue to be our main player. Next up is M373 westbound. M373 is a daily manifest running west out of CSX's Avon Hump Yard near Indianapolis to the Union Pacific interchange at Rose Lake Yard in East St. Louis, Illinois. These trains are typically massive, this one being no different, with nearly 12,000 feet of train running 185 cars. A UP EMD SD70AH is in charge at the head end, and a UPGE is mid-train distributed power. Next is G148, westbound grain empties out of Beech Grove, Indiana, near Indianapolis, headed back to the UP at East St. Louis. This is an odd move, and not one I've seen happen before. Unit grain trains off Union Pacific, BNSF, and Canadian Pacific loaded in the Northern Plains do go to ADM's Beech Grove flour mill frequently, but usually by way of the former Monon and Peoria and Eastern via Chicago, Lafayette, and Crawfordsville, not west to St. Louis. Today's train in particular was led by a fresh CSX SD70 Mac rebuild and a UPES 44 AC. Note the front door on that SD70 Mac, likely reused off of a different powder blue CSX Mac. This train was made up of 109 empty UP hoppers. Now for some CE&D sub action. Right after G148 is G037, southbound grain loads off the DREI at Hillsdale headed to feed the poultry industry in the southeastern United States. While G037 will technically terminate at Evansville, Indiana, the train would be resymboled with a new destination and continue south, a common practice in CSX operations. This particular train went to Pilgrim's Pride Corporation at Ambrose, Georgia. It's obvious that we're in harvest season in Indiana, as yet another grain train is next. This one being G206, empties from Avon Yard, headed to the DREI at Hillsdale. Like G037, G206 didn't actually originate at Avon Yard. Rather, it came from somewhere down south or east and was resymboled there before being profiled to an elevator in the region for loading. To get to Hillsdale, G206 will stop at West Terre Haute, run around its train, or move the engines to the other end, tie down, and wait for a new crew to take it north on the CE&D sub for its final leg to Hillsdale. This set of cars features a plethora of old Pullman Standard 4750 and 4780 hoppers, making it quite the viewing pleasure for rolling stock enthusiasts. Next is the catch of the day, CSX B649, southbound ethanol loads off the Canadian National at Chicago, headed for Eco Energy at Lads, Georgia, with a CN EMD SD75I leaving. Bulk traffic makes up a significant portion of the daily trains on the CE&D subdivision, and a lot of those are bulk ethanol trains for the southeastern U.S. market. most of which come from Western and Canadian carriers in the Chicagoland region. Our last catch of the day is northbound intermodal train I-196 with an SD70 Mac rebuild leading. I-196 is a relatively new train to the CE&D sub. I-196 runs from Duval Ramp in Jacksonville, Florida, north to Bedford Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. Today's train had 138 platforms. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my first narrated video. I would appreciate any feedback you have in the comments.